Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about my lipo journey. Yes, you heard it, I said my lipo journey. It's been 2 months since I have had the procedure, and I just thought that I would come on here and give an update about everything and pretty much tell you guys about how I've been feeling and what's been going on since my surgery, and pretty much also give you some tips on what to expect if this is something that you are interested in getting. I'm not encouraging anybody to go out and get surgery, but I do want to, you know, tell my experience to people who are already looking into getting this done. Do what you want with your body. If you don't like plastic surgery, don't watch the video. And that's pretty much my disclaimer. I don't really have too much more to say because honestly and truly, I could care less what people gotta say about with what I do with my body. So anyway, now that we're past that, let's just go ahead and get into the video. So if you guys see me holding my phone, it's because I have my notes here, and I wrote down some notes so I can make sure I don't forget anything because I always forget stuff. So yeah, so I had my surgery done at Sonobello. If you guys have never heard of Sonobello, they are a popular plastic surgery company, and they have like 60 plus locations throughout the US. They're very, very popular. I got my surgery done here in Dallas, and my doctor was Dr. Feldman. So the procedure that I end up getting is called Triscope Micro Laser Lipo. I think that's how it is. I will put it somewhere here on the screen, but basically what that is they go in and they suck the fat out of you. You are awake during this procedure. I know a lot of people are probably threatened by that. I know I was threatened by that. I was like, I'm gonna be what? I'm gonna be what? I'm gonna be awake? Okay, no. In my head, I was like, I really want to have this procedure done, but there's no way I can be awake. But I end up doing it. They pretty much just numb you up, suck the fat out of you, you're awake. It is non-invasive. It is not invasive. It is completely different from like actual lipo, because usually when you hear someone have lipo, you're thinking of them getting cut up and stuff like that. I was not cut up. Like, my incisions were so tiny. The downtime is not that long versus like if you have actual lipo or a tummy tuck and stuff like that, then you would have like a longer downtime, you'll be in more pain, and just all these other things. And obviously a non-invasive surgery is actually more safe than an invasive surgery. They're above the muscle, they don't cut underneath the muscle or anything like that, which is what makes it non-invasive. So that's pretty much what the procedure is. So I got fat sucked out of the top of my stomach, the lower abdomen, and both of my sides, my back, and my upper back, so where my fat rolls are. Altogether, I think I have about 13 to 14 holes, which are, like I said, really tiny holes. That's pretty much what the procedure is. So I just pretty much want to take you guys through like what I had to go through to get the surgery. So my surgery was scheduled for March 18th of 2020, and my pre-op was March 14th. So I went to my pre-op, everything was good, scheduled my surgery date for March 18th. So literally the day before my surgery, it got canceled because of the whole pandemic situation that we're in. And I was really, really upset, guys, because we had already knew that we were gonna go on lockdown we just didn't know what day pretty much they were gonna do it. And I was thinking in my head like, oh my god, this is like the perfect time to get surgery because we're gonna be in lockdown, I'll be in the house, I'll just be resting anyway, there's nothing to do pretty much, da da da. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be the perfect time to get surgery. Then the day before my surgery, they called me and was like, hey, like we have to cancel your surgery because of the situation. And I was like so upset. I was so upset. So what they did was they scheduled me for June 3rd. And I was really upset because I was like, oh my god, like that's so far. That's so far, like from March to June. I was so upset. I got a little lucky come the beginning of May, I believe. And they were like, we scheduled your surgery for June 3rd, but would you like to do it earlier? And I was like, girl, yes, because I have been waiting all this time to get my surgery. Heck yeah, I want to do it earlier. So then they scheduled my surgery for May 27th and my post-op for, or my pre-op for May 25th. I was really excited, but at the same time I was kind of like crossing my fingers like, please, I hope they don't cancel my freaking surgery again, because they had already gave me the runaround about it. And it's not their fault, it's obviously, you know, the situation that we're in, because, you know, we have to make sure we're staying safe. But at this time, when I went back to get my surgery on the 27th, which successfully happened, I was like, oh, he about to snatch me, he haven't did a body in a minute, I'm about to look good, period. So I was excited. After that, after my surgery, which was May 27th, I had my 1 week post-op, which was June 3rd. So yeah, so that was just the timeline, and I thought that was important because, you know, not too many people have surgery during a pandemic, or, you know, maybe somebody else went through the same thing that I went through and had to like move their schedules around and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not complaining because there's like people out there who's obviously are going through way worse than me during a pandemic. I mean, I got surgery during a pandemic, for God's sakes. But I just thought that was just so crazy because I low-key was annoyed. And, you know, shout out to my girlfriend because she kept me sane through the whole thing. She definitely kept me sane. She was just like, you know, there's people going through worse, because like I said, I was upset that my surgery was happening, and then this whole thing happened like as soon as we went on lockdown was when I was supposed to have my surgery, and it was just like, are you kidding me? But everything happened. Everything happens for a reason, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I want to apologize if I feel like I'm going to be apologizing a lot during this video because I'm a hot mess, which is why I don't talk in my videos. And I'm always doing voiceovers for the most part because I'm always saying I'm always a hot mess. I forget what I'm talking about sometimes. Like, can somebody look up my symptoms and let me know what's wrong with me? Anyway, the next thing we're going to be talking about is the pre-op. So at your pre-op, they pretty much just take pictures of you, explain what's going to be happening during your surgery, explain what's going to be happening after your surgery and stuff like that. Just getting you in the mood and getting you comfortable and stuff like that. You talk to your surgeon about the areas you're having problems with. You know, he tells you or she tells you what, you know, they think is best for you, how much, you know, fat may be taken out of you and stuff like that. That is pretty much what happens at your pre-op. I know, like for me, when I did my consultation, oh, I never talked about my consultation, but when I did my consultation, which is the appointment that you schedule to pay for your surgery pretty much, you don't see the surgeon, you don't see a nurse, you just go and talk to the people that you're paying pretty much to have your surgery. You tell them what you want, like what areas you want done. They calculate it, you pay for it, then they set your pre-op appointment. But a day before my surgery, the surgeon called and he was like, oh, I think that you should get your back rolls sucked out too, because it will just look so much better. And at that point I was just like, it's fine, like let's just do it, cause like why not, you know? If he suggests that it's gonna look better if I do that, then why not? And it does make sense now, because it's like, now that I see the rest of my body and how I'm healing and stuff like that, if I would have left that fat roll, that bra fat roll across my back like that, it would have looked really weird. It would have gave me a kind of a weird shape. So I'm glad that I got that sucked out. So they give you a goodie bag to take home, and in your goodie bag they're going to give you socks, they're going to give you a pre-op and a post-op pamphlet. They also, at your pre-op, it's actually at your, was it at my pre-op? Yeah, it was at my very first pre-op that I had. They mailed me a faja, or another word for it is a compression garment, and this is the garment that you're going to be wearing throughout your entire like post-op, like post-surgery. You're going to be wearing it. I think they recommend 6 months to a year, so I'm shooting for a year, but we'll talk about that a little later. They also give you this Arnicare, is that how you say it? Arnicare cream. And this cream is going to come into play after your surgery. So you pretty much, it says ideal for massage, soothing. It's unscented, paraben free, and it helps your body heal the natural way. And it says muscle pain and stiffness, swelling from injuries and bruising. So pretty much what this is for the bruising. I would not rely on this for the pain, and I will talk about why later, because this does not do anything for pain. But bruising, I think it does help with bruising, and you just pretty much, even if you don't have bruising, because I know a lot of people, they don't bruise right away, they'll bruise like later on. So that's what this cream was for. And they also give you these Arnicare little pills that is the same thing, but they suggest that you start taking these a week before your surgery. So that's what I did, I started taking these when I first got these at my first pre-op. I started taking these, and you're supposed to take 5 is it 5 a day? No, it's 5 at a time, 3 times a day. So 5 at a time, 3 times a day. And I did not bruise at all, so I really do think that these worked. I obviously don't know if I would have bruised, but I did not bruise, not even a little bit, like not at all. So I really do think these work. And I did have mine a little longer, because like I said, I was supposed to have surgery in March, but I ended up having it in late May. So I had mine for a while, and I was taking it like throughout that time, just making sure, like preparing for surgery and stuff like that. But if I could give you guys advice, I would make sure that you schedule your surgery a week after your pre-op, because you get these at your pre-op. So schedule a week after, so you'll have enough time to get this going throughout your system. They also put this in there, and this is like for your scars, or not your scars, it's for your holes, pretty much to tape them up. And that's, I really didn't use this, so I don't know. But when I did use a little bit of it, I just took it to like help keep up my pads, and we'll get into that right now. They do not give you these pads. They do put some pads on you like right after your surgery, but they suggest you buy these. They told me at my pre-op that these are the ones that I needed to get, so these are the ones that I got, and I still have some left over. But and this just helps you to like for instance, if I had a wound right here, you just put the pad over it or whatever. But I was using this like as tape, and I was helping keep up the pad, if that makes sense. So yeah, you're gonna need pads, and you're also gonna need puppy pads. Puppy pads are going to be important as well. So I had like laid those out on my bed, and those came in handy because you're going to be leaking after your surgery. You're going to be freaking leaking, so you need those pads to put over your holes, and then you need the puppy pads to put down wherever you're sitting or wherever you're laying. So I had it over my bed, and then some in the car. Like after my surgery, I had to get in the car, so it was just like on the seats and stuff like that. And you also want to make sure you have towels. That's another thing. You want to make sure you have towels after your surgery. They told me that I had to take this pill that they prescribed to me the night before my surgery. What else? I'm trying to think. Oh, they're going to prescribe you with antibiotic, your bruising pills, your nausea pills, and the most important thing is your pain pills, because you're gonna need those pain pills, girl. So yeah, they're gonna give you all of that stuff at your pre-op. Another thing is they suggest that I keep saying suggest, but these are actually things that you need to do. You need to make sure you do. So when it comes to soap, you need to make sure that you have I was gonna say antibiotic soap. Antibacterial soap is what you're gonna need. So the dial soap, they suggested that specific one to me, and that's the one that I used. At your pre-op, they pretty much tell you to come in baggy clothes, something super, super comfortable, something not tight, because you don't want to wear anything tight after you just had that type of surgery or procedure done. So I went to Walmart and I just bought a black shirt, a black t-shirt, some black sweatpants, and a black like regular basic zip up hoodie. You don't want to get something colorful and then you're like leaking through and stuff like that. And I did leak through my clothes, so good thing they were black, you know, whatever, little things like that, something that you don't care about that you can eventually just throw away. So I just spent like at least the most $20 on all of that stuff from Walmart. So yeah. All right, so come surgery day, I end up getting up in the morning and taking a shower with the antibacterial soap, making sure everything is on me is just squeaky clean. I was super, super nervous. I remember like I was just like, oh my God, praying that everything goes right, because I have a really, oh my God, I have something in my eye. I have a really low pain tolerance, so I was super nervous. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like really, really, really scared. But my girlfriend, she just made sure that I was just fine. Like I'm really glad that she was there with me. That morning I took my shower. Then they did suggest that I eat a light breakfast. So yeah, I had a banana, water, and oatmeal that morning, and I think I vlogged that a little bit. I'm not sure, I don't remember, but that's what I had that morning. And also you have to make sure that someone drives you and pick you up from your surgery, because you are not going to be able to do it yourself. The day of your surgery, that you don't wear any lotion, any perfumes, any jewelry. You just go in your clothes. And for my hair, I had it tied up underneath my bonnet, so I went in my bonnet. And then let's see, so when I arrived to my surgery, I changed into my gown. I signed in, I changed into my gown, and they put me in the back. Once I got to the back, I took pictures again. I remember taking pictures again. And then I also, I don't think I talked to the surgeon. I think after that, I went to another room, which was like right outside. It was connected to the room that I was having surgery, that I was about to have surgery in. So I went to that room, and that's when they gave me the drugs. Woo! I don't remember exactly what it was, but I know it was like some nausea pills. Are we allowed to talk about drugs on YouTube? They just gave me some really good stuff. I'm trying to tell you, they called it a mocktail or a something. It was really good, okay? Because let me tell you that I don't remember anything after that. I know that I did mention that I was awake during this whole procedure, but whatever medicine they gave me, I was sleeping during the whole thing. I didn't even get to watch him suck out the fat, like, and it went by so quick because I fell asleep. I did wake up a couple of times throughout the whole procedure, and apparently, according to him and the nurses, I was laughing because it tickled, like, I guess when they got like on my sides and stuff, like I was laughing because I was being tickled or whatever, and I just find that so funny. But it's like, dang, like I don't remember anything. The only thing I do remember is like when I was getting up off the bed. When I was getting up off the bed, I remember she was trying to push the fluid out of my stomach, and I remember that hurting. I remember that hurting a lot, like, and I guess I was crying or something, or oh no, I was being really rude to her. That's what it was. And if you're watching this, Nurse Mackenzie, I think, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to be mean and rude to you. I remember when she was pushing on me, I was just like, stop, like I was just being rude. I was just like, stop. And then she was putting on the faja on me too, and I was just like, I got it, like, cause that's how much pain I was in. I don't remember the pain, but in the moment, that's what was happening. Like, I was acting that way because I was in pain, but now that I'm looking, I don't remember the pain, which is a good thing, right? But so let's see if I forgot anything, because I just went on a little tangent. The only pain I did feel is when they were numbing me, which is like bee stings, because like I told you guys earlier, I only have like 13 incisions, and they're like really tiny incisions. I will insert some pictures of my incisions. They're so tiny, but those incisions is where the doctor numbed each hole, and that just feels like a prick, like he's just pricking you, you know. It doesn't feel like much. So after they numb me on the surface, they numb you some more with lidocaine. So he actually takes I don't know if it's a rod or something like a rod, and they go in and it just like numbs you underneath the surface some more with the lidocaine, so you can be completely numb. So that part, I don't remember that part hurting either, because he numbed me on the surface, I think, and then he went in and numbed with the lidocaine. I don't think that part hurt. I don't think that part hurt at all, because at that point you're already like numb. I don't remember it being painful, which is a good thing. It's a good thing that I don't remember it being painful, because I have a very low pain tolerance. And you gotta also remember, I am drugged up, I'm doped up, so I probably honestly and truly fell asleep at that point, because I don't remember. But I'm just telling you guys the steps that were taken. After the nurse situation, I don't remember, like, because my surgery was over and she was putting my faja on and all that stuff, I don't remember much. So my girlfriend said I was in the wheelchair, and they were giving her instructions on what to do with me next, I guess, and she said I was crying the entire time I was in the wheelchair. Now, don't let this scare you or discourage you if you're wanting this procedure, because like I said plenty of times, I have the lowest of low pain tolerance, so I was probably just crying because, and then I'm just an emotional person too, so I probably was just crying because, I mean, I probably was in pain, and then two, the medicine, like it was probably messing with my emotions, you know what I'm saying? So I was crying, yeah. And then she also said when I got in the car I was asleep. So I think I came home and I went to sleep surgery day. Like, I do have a clip of me, which I don't remember taking this clip, but I do have a clip of me after my surgery in the bathroom mirror, like recording myself, and I just find that so funny. So yeah, so let's go ahead and move along to week 1 after surgery. And I kind of want to hurry up and speed through this because I don't want this video to be too long, because I can, once I start talking, I can ramble. Like once I'm all warmed up and comfortable, I can just start rambling like I'm doing right now. So I just want to just go ahead and make sure I'm getting as much of the information that I wrote in my notes out, so the video won't be too long and boring. So let's go ahead and get into week 1 after surgery. I was barely in pain during week 1 because that lidocaine does not just wear off after a day. I am still numb to this day, and today is August 5th of 2020, and I had my surgery May 27th. So I am still numb in some places. I was like, the first week I was not in pain at all. I took my pain medicine. It wasn't like excruciating pain, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like pain that you can deal with, but I was definitely taking my pain medicine, so I was really comfortable, I guess. I mean, I was uncomfortable, but I was comfortable enough, you know, to not be like miserable or anything like that. I did not have an appetite, which is really crazy. I don't know if that's normal after surgery. This was my first surgery, so I don't know if that's normal after surgery to like not have an appetite, but I did not have an appetite whatsoever. Like I wasn't craving anything. I just wasn't hungry, but I definitely still ate because you have to eat. All I wanted to do was sleep, which is true. I slept a lot the first week, and that's okay because you're gonna need a rest. You're gonna need, you know, your body just went through some trauma, so you want to make sure that you're drinking a lot of water, you're resting and stuff like that. And also before your surgery, you want to make sure, like, you know, you're supposed to drink water anyway, but you want to make sure that you're drinking a lot of water, or whatever. Before you have your first bath, they want you to wait a whole entire 48 hours. So that's what I did, and let me tell you, I was not happy. That first bath was a struggle because you have to get out of that faja, and that was a lot. And then taking the pads off. I think I do have footage of that happening, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. I don't think I was you know, that upset about the situation, but I was like, it wasn't that great, okay? Because you have to come up out of that faja and those pads and stuff like that. And the baths kind of got easier towards, like, I'll say the 4th week, the baths got easier. Oh, excuse me. And then my appetite also kind of came back around the 4th week as well. Alright guys, so now we're on week 2, and during week 2 I was still super numb during this time, but it was also the most painful. Like, week 2, like, the pain started to kick in. I became very annoyed with everything. My poor girlfriend, bless her heart, like, I became very aggravated, agitated. Like, it just, everything was bothering me. I was really borderline depressed. Like, you become very emotional. Well, I did at this during week 2. I guess it kicked into me like, dang, I really just did this to myself, you know? So yeah, my appetite still wasn't really there, but like I said, I was eating anyway. I was barely eating though, but I was eating. But I just did not have an appetite. I didn't really get nauseous, and it's probably because I was taking my nausea pills anyway. I know, like, most people take the nausea pills when they feel nauseous, but I was just taking them just in case. So maybe that's why I didn't get nauseous. I was super swollen. It was so crazy, like how swollen I was, and I'll make sure to insert some clips. I was looking like nothing had just happened. That's how I felt, you know? Like I did not just get surgery, but they tell you like you're gonna look bigger than you did before you started because you're so swollen, you have all that fluid in you and stuff like that. I was not leaking as much anymore during the second week, which is really great. I stopped leaking pretty fast. I thought for some reason the leakage was gonna be like something that happened a lot longer, but I gladly didn't leak anymore, so that was great. 1 month out from my surgery, let me tell you about it. So a month after my surgery, I was in a wedding. Yes, I was in a wedding, and a wedding is not something that you can just cancel. I was a bridesmaid, you know? You can't just be like, oh, I'm not coming to your wedding, especially at this time, because I believe the wedding had already got pushed back because of the pandemic. So it would have just probably been really bad if I would have canceled on them, and they're really good friends of my girlfriend and I, so there was no way I was canceling being in this wedding. But let me tell you, I was in a lot of pain during this time, but I sucked it up because it wasn't about me, you know? Yeah, I just had surgery or whatever, but it wasn't about me. I was not confident yet in how I looked. I was still very, very insecure about how I looked, and then I was about the same weight that I was when I started this whole, like before my surgery, you know? My stomach was a little flatter, but it was like I was still heavy. I still have fluid in me. I was still emotional, and just like, it was a lot. And then on top of that, it was hot, you know? They got married at a beach, or on a beach, so it was just a lot. Like, my body was not liking me for going to, or like just being out of the house and like doing a lot. We were walking around, we were just doing too much, and my feet swell up like by the end of the day, or sometimes just in the middle of the day, like my feet would be so swollen. Oh, and that's another thing, you need to make sure you elevate your feet after your surgery. But anyway, my feet was so swollen, my hands were swollen, my face was swollen, my legs were swollen, like everything just was swelling up, and like my circulation was horrible. And I was kind of scared because, you know, they tell you about blood clots after you have surgery and stuff like that, and I was just really, really nervous because I was just like, I really hope that I don't have a blood clot or anything like that. But my girlfriend, she was like, you'll know when you have a blood clot, you'll know, you'll know, you'll know. But anyways, like, I don't regret being in my friend's wedding because they looked so beautiful, they were so happy, everything was so great, but it was just bad timing for me. I did not, even when I go and look at the pictures, and I'll make sure I insert pictures of how I looked, I don't even look like that. Who is this person? Like, that's not me. And then it's like 2 weeks later, I look like a completely different person. Literally, after coming back from the wedding, I went to the gym for the first time, and I started working out lightly, slowly but surely, but like I literally started looking like a completely different person. My swelling went down, some of the fluid in my body went away. Like, I think I kind of just got up and started doing stuff too soon. Even though they say the downtime with the surgery isn't long, which is true, because after 2 weeks, some people go back to work and, you know, start doing things and stuff like that. But at the same time, they tell you not to work yourself too hard. And I think that I worked myself too hard and I was feeling horrible. Like, I felt so disgusting. Like, I can't, and it's not even just based on what I looked like I physically was just drained. Like, I was so drained, but I held it together. I sucked it up for my friends, because you only get married, well, you don't only get married once, but you can't mess up someone's wedding, period. Okay, I thought I would tell you guys that, because that's how I was feeling at a month update. I was just going through it. It was horrible. I suggest you just, pandemic or not, stay home, relax, you know, keep your feet up, take care of yourself, you know, if you can, the best way you can. And that's that. All right, guys, so now for my 2-month update, which is in current time right now. It has been 2 months since I have had my surgery. It is currently August 5th. I will tell you guys, I am loving my results. Sonobello did a good job, specifically Dr. Feldman himself here in Dallas. He did such a good job, and if he is watching this video, I just want to say thank you. I haven't even met with him for my 3-month post-op, which is August 20 something. It's August, it's sometime at the end of this month, and I'm just really excited to show him what he did to my body. And I'm not even healed yet. That's the thing, it hasn't even been 6 months to, because they say it's like 6 months to a year to when you're supposed to be fully healed or something like that, and it's only been almost 3 months. So it's like so crazy. It's just crazy to me that how good I look. Okay, I've been going to the gym, doing full workouts now. At first they want you to slowly like do like small workouts, or let me tell you what I did specifically or personally. I started going back to the gym July 6th was my first day back in the gym. So what me and my girlfriend would do, because she is awesome, she would sit with me in the sauna and walk on the treadmill with me, and that would be my workout, because they suggest that I take it slow. So that's what I did. Now 2 months out, I am doing full workouts, not limiting myself. You are gonna start to feel super tight, and like reaching for things can be a little challenge, but it's nothing too major. It's just more so on my sides, because I am still very swollen on my sides, or not swollen but sore on my sides. So yeah, my swelling is very minimal. Like, you can tell that I'm not completely healed, but the swelling is like, it's there, but it's not as bad. I am remaining very cautious of what I eat, because you want to make sure that you don't put back on all that weight after you just had your surgery. That can probably be very traumatizing, and I can only imagine. So I'm very cautious of what I eat. I used to drink beer. I had 1 beer at that wedding I was telling you about, because you can actually start drinking after a week after your surgery. They say that you can start drinking, but I didn't start drinking until I went to that wedding at the end of like after the first month, and I had a sip of the beer, and then I was like, no, I cannot do this to my body, like, because beer is probably what made me gain weight in the first place. Like, I really do think it was on top of my eating habit and my metabolism just slowing down. Beer is what made me gain weight. I just know it. So I don't drink beer anymore, and it sucks because I love beer. I love it so much, but I don't drink beer anymore, because I be damned if I gain my weight back. Okay, there's a chance that you won't gain your weight back in that specific area where you had your lipo, but you have to keep in mind that if it's not going to go there, it's going to go somewhere else. That could be a good thing for some people, and then that could be a bad thing, because it's just kind of like, you know, you just want to remain cautious. That is pretty much all that I have. I do want to mention that I'm going to do a part 2, and it's going to be like for my 4 to 6 month update, and I also want to leave that video open to answer questions that I probably didn't get around to here, or if I left something out, or if you guys want to know something specifically about the lipo, the procedure, the doctor, this, that, just let me know down in the comments below, and I will make sure that I answer them in my next video. Yeah, I'm really excited to be sharing this with you guys, and maybe I can continue to grow and open up more on my channel about things that I do to myself or, you know, whatever it is that you guys want to know about me. Yeah, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram at BeautifulTaylorXO or at BeautifulTaylorXO Cosmetics. And on BeautifulTaylorXO, you guys can see more of like my daily life. Like, I post a lot on there. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on your post notifications. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end, thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, we'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.